All right, well, I want to welcome everybody to the power of automated workflows. My name is Mark Stepp. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer here, and I'm constantly thinking about workflows, what it can do for you. And what I want to do today is to share some of the power of those workflows. Now, workflows are made from templates of different things. You got document templates, which allow you to create emails, SMS, text messages, and stuff. But also, the workflow itself is really a template in and of itself as well. It can be used for data entry, for checklists, like I said, emails and SMS templates. But creating campaigns, reminders, those types of things are all important for Realvolve to be able to function for you in the best way. And that's really what we're going to be covering today. Now, here at Realvolve, we have the 4D automation. There's 4 basic D items, D1 through D4, that we're going to cover. So D1 really is the time delays. And this is where you schedule something and get it completed, then wait a number of days, X number of days, as a delay to process the next thing. So day 1, do this. Day 2, do this. Day 5, do this. Those are time delay type items. And those are important. They're very important to have. The other D, D2, is the specific date. So you can say, well, I want something to happen on a specific date, maybe for holidays or birthdays, things that are milestones that happen. Now, in most applications that you see out in the real estate space, they have these 2 forms of action plans or task series, things that happen. But in Realvolve, we also have 2 additional Ds, and they're really important to have. We've got the decision points. D3 is decision points, and that allows you to choose what happens next from a list of options. After that activity is complete, or maybe if it's not even complete yet, you might have some need for going a different direction. This is what we consider our branching, the ability to branch different directions. And then the D4 covers the ability to hold a date until it's needed. It could be where you've got an activity that has to be done first, and then another activity is dependent on that. So there's a couple different things that you can do with that done. The D1 through D4 are very, very important. To give you an example of this, how you can use each one of those in a workflow. Let's talk about this, the D4 automation in action. So you would have a home inspection, possibly on October 25th. So you assign it a given date. Well, maybe one day before that, you want to send some kind of email or text reminder. And you can do that. But it's really based off of that October 25th date. Whatever date that inspection is, one day before, it's going to be sending a reminder. If you happen to change that inspection date, then the one day before changes as well. Then you may want to have a delay of some sort, where you have 2 days delay just to deal with the inspection report. Did you receive it in that 2-day period? Just as a reminder. So you can use that as an activity as well. That could be an email or whatever to send out in the event that you didn't get the delivery itself. And then the due diligence. What is it that I need to do based off of that repair that I got back from them? Is there something that needs to happen? And in this case, you could have, are there repairs? Yes or no? You could have other options based off of that particular activity's function. And it may be more than 2 options. It could be multiple options, and you can have as many different options as far as direction. So this here really shows you the different types of things that we deal with for our 4D automation. The done, the specific dates, the time delays, and the decision points. All very important. What I really want to concentrate on in this particular talk is the decision points. Really identifying some of the things that are important that you can use as decision points and how they can be used with new hires and assistants, or even agents in your team that are just starting to use Realvolve. You put these systems together and you want them to use them. Many times it's just a matter of making sure that they understand how to use the system and setting up a workflow to step them through that system. It's just a matter of setting up checkpoints and checklist items and actions that can help them through that process. So to get an idea of this, you might set up some kind of task list or a checklist of things that can be done. In this case, maybe we've got a listing. Then it goes to what are the things that needs to happen once I get that listing. Well, I've got to make sure that I've got the signed contract. I upload the MLS. I order the sign, place the lockbox, send postcards and present offers. These are all things that need to be done. And while this is good, it's really never like this. In fact, it's really more like this. And we've seen this, the design, multiple times. We try to use it because it's such a good example. You get a listing appointment, and at the end of that listing appointment, there's really kind of three things that can happen. Either you don't get the listing, in which case you can go prospect more, or you can go and start dripping on them if they didn't really make a decision. Sending them handwritten letters, scheduling calls, sending scheduled CMA updates, and so forth, until finally, hopefully, they actually get it. They get the listing, or you get the listing. And then from that point on, it just kind of filters down. And each one of the different blue spots on this chart really identify the possible checkpoints or things that need to be done, and the white boxes are the actions that you need to do at those checkpoints. So a lot of different things kind of tie into each other. So if we take that in mind as far as new users and all the complexity of what could happen, and we look at Realvolve's listing. I mean, this is just a quick example of a listing, and it's got some basic information about the listing detail itself, square foot, and all that kind of stuff. There's lots of information in there. If you're brand new to real estate, some of this might look a little bit overwhelming, and it's not that bad. It's just information. We've got the people tab for the photographer, the seller, the seller's agent, that type of information as well. So these two tabs, the listing and the people, are really prime data information that you're going to want for a given workflow. So if you were brand new and you maybe didn't know those other screens, what if all you had to do is come into Realvolve, look at the dashboard, and over on the right-hand side, you see the tasks that you need to do. Whether you're a brand new assistant, whether you're a transaction coordinator, listing coordinator, an agent to the team, you just have to worry about what's on that far right-hand side on activities. Okay, let's take a look at just one of those for right this moment. The set vendor appointments. Now, set vendor appointments as an activity kind of makes sense. I mean, you've got to do some setting of appointments, but if you're brand new, you might not know really what that entails. So you go to check off the little box there, and you notice that all of a sudden it pops up a checklist of activities. And this is where that decision and direction piece comes into play. This pop-up list of checklist items. Over on the left, you see all the checklist boxes themselves. You see the termite inspection, the city reports, and things that have to get done. The checklist is made of both static items, things that are just plain text, in this case termite inspection, occupancy, stager, that type of stuff. It's just plain words. But you can also put in database fields or merge fields in these checklist items. In this case, we've got one here called photographer. And it wants to verify, do we have a photographer or not? And in fact, in this case, we do. We have Phil Photo is the person that's doing the photography on this. But you notice that there are two fields that are not filled in, the photography date and the photography time. And the challenge here is, do you know where you need to put that information in? Well, if you were going back to the listing, you're going back to the listing tab, searching all the different fields, it could be a little tedious, like I said earlier. But what if all we do is we just come into this area and we fill in those dates and those times right from the checklist? Now, what have we done? All we've actually done is we filled in the boxes for the checklist items, make sure that those are checked off, and then we filled in the two missing fields since we verified Phil Photo was right. If Phil Photo wasn't the right one, we could delete it and put in a different one. But we fill in the basic fields and make sure that it's all filled in. And then by doing that, if you go back and look at those important date fields that's back on the the tab in the listing, you see that the values that we filled in from the checklist fill in the fields in the database. So now you're not having to learn all the screens. All you really have to do is follow the instructions that are on the checklist. So that's a great thing about checklists and how they're used. Here's another one. Maybe you've got some kind of expiry reminder, whether it's a new listing or something that's getting ready to expire of some sort, and you've got Sue Seller there. And then you go to check the little checkbox, and it comes up and says, hey, have I made my calls? Have I sent my emails? And if I haven't, all I do is check the little checkbox, and it sends it. So this is one of those other decision points. Here's another one where we've got a seller. We're getting ready to do a 3 weeks to go email, basically, to Sam and Mary Smith. We click on the little checkbox to mark it done. And in this case, it doesn't have a checklist, but it does have an action list. Checklists are things where they have to be checked off in order for the activity to be done. Action lists are things that you can do either while the activity, if it has a checklist, while the activity is not complete, or once that activity is totally complete. In this case, it doesn't have a checklist, so the only thing we can do is actually run the action. So we go there, we click on that we want to do the 3 weeks, and we click on run. Now in this case, because of the way it was set up, instead of sending it automatically or immediately, this particular one was set up to send manually with preview, so we can edit it before it actually goes out. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and click on the edit screen, and it shows me a template of the email that's going to be going out. In which case, I can see the template, I can make editorial changes to it or whatever. One thing that we do see on here is the merge fields that are available. I can click on the show preview, and it will go ahead and merge in all those fields for me. I can make any additional changes I want to, and then click on send email. Once that email is sent, it's done. It's good. So all the power of workflows is really what it comes down to. Is it gives you the ability to free up your time. It prevents slippage. Things from slipping through the cracks and dates slipping through without you knowing about them being due at any given time. And it also provides decision and direction. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact our support team. We've got a great support staff that can help you on virtually anything that you have. If there's additional questions you have specifically for me, email us faststart@realvolve.com. Have a great day.